chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
Those 2 minutes over?
Yep, we're all good to go on YouTube.
Alex might join, I believe.
All right, guys. Welcome all to another FPVFC Town Hall. Let me get my words straight. I apologize. I am exhausted, but we'll get through this together. I have quite a few news articles, some interesting ones. I'm sure some of you have popped up. And we'll start with a little DJI because, I mean, what's a town hall without DJI, right? So let me get this going here. And see, I think we're good to go there. So DJI insists geofencing update isn't linked to U.S. drone ban talks. So DJI, the world's leading drone maker, has found itself at the center of a heated speculation this week after announcing a major update to its geofencing system in the United States. The company has now issued a clarification. This change is not a retaliatory move against the U.S. government amid discussions of a potential ban on DJI products. Instead, DJI insists that the update is designed to give drone operators better control and more reliable airspace data by aligning with the FAA official information. With tensions high over possible restrictions on Chinese-made drone technology, the timing of DJI's announcements led some to believe the company was making a political statement. But DJI says this couldn't be further from the truth. Here's a breakdown of the facts and why this update actually benefits drone pilots. DJI first introduced geospatial environment online system in 2013, back when consumer drones were still a novelty and drone regulations were sparse. The system was a voluntary initiative aimed at fostering safe flying habits by providing real-time airspace data to pilots. Over the years, DJI's geofencing system became well-recognized standard in the industry. It provided pilots with in-app warnings about airspace restrictions and even prevented drones from taking off in high-risk areas unless users obtained authorization from DJI. However, a lot has changed since 2013 with the FAA implementing new regulations like remote ID and Lance. For instant flight approvals, DJI believes it's time to update its system to better reflect today's regulatory landscape. Now, rather than relying on DJI's internal geofencing maps, drone operators in the U.S. will use official FAA data to determine where they can and cannot fly. And I couldn't agree more with this. I mean, it's always been an issue in areas where you should be able to fly, can't fly. There's no issues there. I know a lot of people have gone and, I guess for lack of a better term, hack their DJI to get around it. If they really wanted to fly, they're going to fly, right? and none of the drones that we fly in FPV racing or freestyle or anything like that have this limitation to it. And for the I guess that would be making a leap of faith. I was about to say for the most part, I feel like people know where they should and shouldn't fly. But if you're new to drones, probably aren't as educated, right? So, dispelling the misinformation. So, number one, politics aren't involved. DJI insists that the change has nothing to do with geopolitics. The company has a long track record of implementing industry leading safety measures, often before regulations even require them. To suggest that this update is linked to the current political environment in the US is not only false, but dangerous. Politicizing safety serves no one. Additionally, DJI points out that this update was planned months ago and had already been rolled out in the European Union last year, where it was received without controversy. Aligning with FAA's operator responsibility model. In many parts of the world, aviation regulators, including the FAA, have moved towards an operator responsibility approach, meaning drone pilots are expected to be aware of flight restrictions and comply accordingly. Unlike mandatory geofencing, which blocks flights, this approach treats pilots as responsible decision makers. This update is not a removal of safety measures. DJI's warning zones and in-app alerts remain intact to educate users about restricted airspace. Instead, the change simply shifts the responsibility to the operator, aligning with FAA regulations. Geofencing was never about enforcement. DJI claims that its geofencing system has always been an educational tool, not an enforcement mechanism. While it previously imposed no-fly zones, it did not have legal authority to enforce them. With this update, drone pilots will still receive enhanced warning notifications, but they won't need to go through DJI's approval process to unlock flight restrictions. And then why geofencing updates benefits drone operators. Fewer operational delays. Obviously, that's pretty straightforward. You can get authorization through LANC fairly quickly. More accurate and consistent airspace data. So before this change, DJI's global geofencing system was based on ICAO Annex 14 configurations, which didn't always match FAA's airspace classifications. This inconsistency led to confusion among drone pilots who were unsure whether they were actually in restricted airspace. By integrating official FAA data, DJI ensures the operators are viewing airspace restrictions exactly as the FAA defines them, eliminating discrepancies. So, I don't know. What do we think? Is it? Do we feel like it's?
My view is that it overall for us it's a positive. I agree with Josh that by and large FPV pilots around the country are aware that you have to be careful of batteries, you have to be careful of propellers, and you should know what you're doing with respect to airspace authorization, three tenets in safety. However, there are a ton of people new to the hobby coming in with video drones, picking them up online or at a store, and not really understanding battery, propeller, or airspace authorization safety. And they can they probably now more than they did need our help. And so this is, and Greg Revendu, I think, cited this. Whatever we can do to help educate a friend, educate someone new, that they should get a LANC authorization, that they should understand airspace authorization. It's but and certainly we work a ton with 107 pilots, and the frustration level was very high that they would have to work through DJI geofencing and then get appropriate approval. So now it's if you're in controlled airspace, LANC approval, and good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, you have a take on this?
Yeah, I think overall, again, it's up to the end user. It's up to the operator to maintain their compliance. I think the funny thing about this whole scenario, though, is on the conspiratorial side, people were saying that the geofences were actually there to gather sensitive information, when in reality, our take is that it was there to keep people from flying in areas that they should not be flying. But it's kind of funny. It's kind of a lose-lose. It doesn't matter what they do. It seems like they're being accused of, being against everything.
DJI can do no right, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know. It's definitely it's funny timing for sure. I feel like this should have been updated probably years ago, to be honest. And but at the same time, they did what they did, and the fallout lands where where it lands. So yeah. All right. Now to our next favorite company, Amazon. Um, citing safety Amazon halts drone deliveries in Texas and Arizona. Safety concerns lead to temporary pause. So, citing safety concerns with its Model Mark 30 drone software, delivery giant Amazon recently announced it was suspending its drone delivery services at its facilities in College Station, Texas, and Tolleson, Arizona, until further notice. The company, in which 2020 received its FAA Part 135 air carrier certificate, authorizing it as an airline able to deliver small packages via drone, shut down its delivery service on January 17th in order to implement software changes. Safety underscores everything we do in prime air, and our Mark 30 drone is safe and compliant. It's designed to safely respond to unknown events in a known way, and the overall architecture of the drone has performed as expected, Amazon spokesperson Sam Stevenson said in a statement. The pause in operations comes after a safety incident occurred in December at an Amazon testing facility in Pendleton, Oregon, although Amazon said the incident was not directly related to its suspension decision. According to published reports, 2 drones undergoing tests crashed as a result of software malfunction caused by light rain. One of the drones reportedly caught fire upon impact.
Well, at least it was raining.
Right. Stevenson said the Pendleton incident was not a primary reason for a voluntary operational pause. He added that Prime Air continued to make deliveries to its customers safely and within federal compliance until the company voluntarily paused the service. These incidents occurred at our private enclosed testing facility, where the purpose of these tests is to push our aircraft past their limits. It would be irresponsible not to do that, Stevenson said. We expect incidents like these to occur in those tests, and they help us continue to improve the safety of our operations. He added that Prime Air's commercial Mark 30 drone operations have been conducted safely and in compliance with all FAA regulations and requirements. Amazon Prime Air's drone delivery business has gone through a series of ups and downs since it first began to test out its commercial drone delivery business model in College Station and Lockford, California in December 2022. So there's a lot else here. It's more about the history. They are going to, the company gave assurances that its latest setback was only temporary and said that employees at both its Tolleson and College Station facilities would remain on the job and be paid through the pause in service. So doesn't really go into specifically why, but yeah. Hopefully they get back up and running. They've definitely had their ups and downs for sure.
Yeah. So Google, what they executed over 440,000 deliveries in Australia before coming to the United States. So clever on their part to work where there's a lot of open space, and before you go into a equivalently an urban area, it's or suburban at least.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to bump this article ahead. So now with another drone delivery company, we've got Zipline completes its first customer delivery with revolutionary P2 drone system. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit so that you guys can remember. This is the P2. So it's a drone kind of within a drone. So it drops this little guy from the bigger drone to deliver the little package. So
looks like the smaller one's on a tether, but it can still maneuver somewhat to avoid obstacles.
To like avoid plants or whatnot.
Fine tune its landing position.
Children,
absolutely. Children, small children.
Oh, I'm sure dogs would just love to attack that thing.
Right. So, in a significant milestone for autonomous delivery, Zipline has successfully completed its first customer delivery using the Platform 2 system. The historic delivery to a fire department marks the operational debut of the company's next generation automated delivery service, as announced by Zipline CEO and co-founder Keller Renato Clifton. This will save people time and money, expand access to healthcare, reduce traffic, and transition last mile delivery to a zero emission future, Clifton stated in his announcement of the achievement. Now we need to scale 1 million to 1 million deliveries a day. The successful deployment represents a crucial step forward in Zipline's mission to revolutionize last-minute logistics. Zipline's P2 technology represents a significant advancement in drone delivery capabilities, specifically engineered for operation in densely populated urban and suburban environments. The system's core innovation lies in its dual-component design: the primary aircraft, which is the Zip that handles long-distance transport, and a sophisticated delivery droid that descends via tether for precise package placement. Operating within a 10-mile service radius, the system promises consistent 10-minute delivery times while carrying payloads of up to 8 pounds. The drones maintain a cruising altitude of 300 feet, significantly reducing noise pollution while ensuring efficient operation above urban obstacles. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, as a mechanical engineer, I have such admiration for this company. They've designed a completely different system. The entire ecosystem is different from what they designed, implemented, and executed in Africa, notably in Uganda, where they had 75-mile flight radii, and they used a fixed wing and a big capture system, highly rural, very dangerous area from a personal security perspective, as well as no airports, roads are terrible, completely different environment. So they designed the product, their aircraft, to match the requirements of their flight operations, and then they did it again with this aircraft for suburban. And I think it's brilliant. And so these people are not stuck with a notion of, well, this worked in Uganda, so it should, we should adapt it and use the same aircraft here, in the States, in a suburban environment. Really clever people.
Absolutely. So, drone delivery done right, and probably some lessons to learn from Amazon, right? Just saying. All right. So, this is something the FPVFC kind of was founded on, and it's drones are useful for people with I guess disabilities, right? And so in this case, a paralyzed man controls a virtual drone with his mind. So a 69-year-old man with paralysis and a brain implant was able to fly a virtual drone through complex obstacle courses simply by thinking about moving his fingers, thanks to an experimental device developed by researchers from Stanford University. The participant, who has quadriplegia from a C4 spinal cord injury, navigated obstacle courses and random flight patterns using neural signals from 2 tiny electrode arrays implanted in his brain. His ability to combine multiple movements simultaneously represents a significant advance in brain-computer interface technology. For the experiment, researchers developed a system that can decode 4 distinct control dimensions from brain signals. This level of control matches what able-bodied gamers achieve with physical controllers, the researchers said. Just as able-bodied users of digital systems use their fingers to manipulate keyboards and game controllers, the system allows an intuitive framework for a brain-controlled digital interface, providing opportunities for recreation and socialization, as well as eliciting feelings of enablement. He expressed on multiple occasions even before enrollment in the clinical trial, that one of his most important personal priorities was to use a brain control interface to control a quadcopter, the researchers wrote in their paper. He felt controlling a quadcopter would enable him, for the first time since his injury, to figuratively rise up from his bed or chair. This motivation drove impressive results. After different tries, the unidentified subject was able to complete 12 laps around an obstacle course, averaging 222 seconds per lap and navigating through 28 randomly placed rings in just 10 minutes. So there's a video clip here. and I'm going to kind of blow this up a little bit. And it's just the virtual control of a drone, but it shows in the bottom left the fine motor skills that he's using to move his fingers. And as we all know, flying a drone is realistically just minor movements on the sticks to achieve what you're looking for, unless you're looking for a gross response, right? So a rapid acceleration or a rapid ascent. But you can see just the fine motor controls from the brain implants mimicking his hands as he's navigating the obstacle courses is pretty cool.
That's great.
I mean, this is super neat, and I would love to see this implemented on, in real time, on a real drone for this man. I mean, that's incredible.
Definitely. This is great. Yeah. And as we've said numerous times, we've been contacted by folks who are suffering from PTSD, suffering from chronic pain, and they're flying in real life with FPV has said that it gives them significant relief either from pain or from the trauma of PTSD. So, yet another. And this is great. And it's this type of, like Josh says, next step, have this guy fly in real life and be able to virtually, see and move around and fly around. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, when you think about moving your fingers, neurons and brain cells in the motor cortex fire electrical signals. Even if the body is paralyzed, these signals still exist. Mind reading studies have been trying to decode these signals to trigger external devices capable of achieving what the brain wants to do. The system that helped this man fly a virtual drone relies on two 96-channel silicon microelectrode arrays placed in the hand knob area of the participant's motor cortex. The electrodes pick up spike band power to measure how active neurons are. For example, when a participant imagines flexing the thumb, specific neurons fire rapidly, and these electrodes detect the neural activity patterns. Then a computer uses a machine learning algorithm to convert these signals into finger movements in real time. I mean, this is epic. This is super cool.
96 channel sensors. What?
Right.
That's amazing.
Right. So, completely incredible. Love this, and hopefully it continues to be an ongoing thing for this man. So,
Cool.
yeah. All right. Ohio now has laws on drone usage after Governor DeWine signs bill. Here's what you can't do. So,
buy suit jackets like that gentleman on the right there. I hope those are banned as well.
That looks like a 70s photo or something.
Nice.
Right.
Nice look. Yeah. These guys.
So, this is an increase in, I guess, the complexity of drone laws that, I mean, me personally, and I'm sure all of us kind of frown upon. But anyway, here we go. Ohio now officially has its own rules regulating the use of drones, which will allow the state to charge Ohioans, that's a strange word, who operate drones recklessly, interfere with first responder activities, or commit other flying faux pas. The regulations come from House Bill 77, legislation championed by Clark County Representative Bernie Willis and approved by Ohio Governor Mike DeWine this week. Once the bill becomes law in 3 months, the rules will mirror and expand the drone regulation framework already used by the federal government, while giving the state added power to prosecute for federal offenses. Ohio will now have the ability to prosecute their own UAV laws that mirror federal laws, Willis said in a press release. This legislation doesn't create any new licensure regulations for UAV pilots. It allows Ohio to have local control of our airspace and hold pilots that are operating in an unsafe manner accountable without having to find a U.S. attorney to prosecute. This is a step in the right direction, but there's still more we need to do to protect our airways. According to the Willis press release, HB 77 specifically forbids operating a drone in a reckless manner that endangers others. So, who's to determine what a reckless manner is, for one?
Yeah, very vague.
Yeah, operating a drone in a way that is prohibited by the FAA.
Seems like the only rule they need.
Right. Operating a drone that interferes with first responder activities.
Already
Well,
part of
that's
the second rule there.
right. Operating a drone to record or loiter over or near critical infrastructures, which can include railroads, TV or radio transmission facilities, courthouses, police stations, hospitals, jails, military installations, and more.
Pretty sure that's also covered by the FAA's rule.
Prohibited critical infrastructure. Yeah, yeah. The bill also authorizes local governments to establish their own ordinance on private drone use in or above parks or other properties owned by that local government. So, first step in a wave of a bunch of random UAS rules and laws.
Yeah,
that
Josh, that
last
near is very subjective. It says near
Yes.
critical infrastructure. My definition of near and yours may be very different.
Yeah, I
Right.
Yeah.
live near train tracks. They're like 2 miles away, but I can hear them. I count that as near, but does that mean I'm
Yeah.
near them or not?
Yeah, the
Right.
one that last paragraph, this bill that starts, this bill also authorizes. That's the one that makes me real nervous because that's a direct, violation of federal preemption in
Yeah.
use or above parks. So the fact that they are um, authorizing a law that's making it illegal, and then also delegating to local municipalities that they too can disqualify flight above the ground. Now, so let's say that someone takes this to court. What do we think a federal court is going to say these days? I would say it's an even shot that they might say that the state has the authority to do this, which would create all sorts of issues with respect to federal preemption.
Yeah. 100%. And I'll give a shout out to Arizona, which is one of the states that prohibits local governments from making drone laws or UAV laws, and defers almost everything to the FAA. So
Yeah, this is
definitely,
going in the opposite direction.
yeah. And I mean the bottom paragraph here: the legal use of drones has been in the news lately after UAVs have been seen over and near military bases across the country, including Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Obviously, the crap going on in New Jersey, whatever the heck that is, and all the other fun stuff. But and then on the flip side, I didn't pull up the article, but it looks like it was a private drone that struck the Scooper in LA. So there's that on the list as well for a shot to the FPV community and the UAV community as a whole. So that's good times too.
Yeah. So one of the laments that we have about laws popping up in various states is this creates a patchwork of regulations. So if you're flying a UAS, an RC airplane, a drone, whatever it is in Ohio, come March, you're probably going to be subjected to state regulations. And then on top of that, the state has authorized local municipalities to add additional rules and laws and ordinances.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Not
trying to
good.
figure out
Yeah.
if you're allowed to fly in some public space would be difficult
Yeah.
at best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not
100%.
Lance. Yeah. How do you figure that
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. So good times there. That's about all I have for the evening. I do have apparently just real quick. The U.S. Marines are let's see. I forget National Drone. Sorry, I gotta. Let's see. National Drone Association. Sorry. Announced its sponsorship of the first inter-service international U.S. military drone crucible championship to measure, incentivize, and rapidly integrate small drone skills and capabilities across the armed services. The U.S. Marines are the first service to launch an official U.S. military competitive drone team. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool, kind of interesting, I guess.
Absolutely. Great.
And then last but not least, apparently I was down. So porous ground treatments. This is kind of interesting. Just a study that says porous ground treatments drastically reduce drone noise, making way for soundless city skies. So this is coming as drones and air taxis in urban areas kind of starts to proliferate, making way for the future. So basically stating that areas with grass and shrubbery and porous layers dissipate sound and can make urban environments where these things are operating a little bit quieter. So landing pads where these things would land, you could see them covered by grass and that kind of thing. Hey, a little more green doesn't hurt a city, right? So
I would be dating myself if I said, I want a shrubbery.
Bring me a shrubbery.
Yes. So good times there. But with that, I will hand it over to you, Dave. What you got for us?
A couple things cooking. We were good sessions with the drone safety team, which should be interesting in the news to see if that organization continues to function after yesterday or today's elimination of all FACAs across the federal government, of which I think there are 600. So you recall we worked with the Drone Advisory Committee, then it became the Advanced ACC, the Advanced Aerospace Aviation Committee, and then that was disbanded from the 2024 FAA Reauthorization Act to be replaced with a 12-person FACA, federal authorized committee, and so no more FACAs. So that's significant. So we'll see. The drone safety team is not a FACA, but it is an FAA and industry partnership, and the FAA does fund chunks of effort. A lot of that goes to third parties like companies like MITRE. So we'll see how that progresses. In the work that we're doing, Alex Suarez and I have created a case study for them, demonstrating that there is good rigor in multi-GP racing. And so we were able to share some insights. We got quizzed, a little bit of ridicule, but a lot more than the ridicule. There were open minds and interesting, good suggestions on how to help and improve safety in racing. So that's a positive. Also working on
keeping his internet connection working, apparently.
No, we lost Dave.
Advance.
He's back.
For public
Dave, we lost you there for a minute.
We lost me? Oh, okay. How far back?
We're working on
the response due March 4 from it's the Advance Notice for Public Rulemaking from the Department of Commerce. That's coming up, and it should be interesting to see if we do get a notice for public rulemaking for beyond visual line of sight. Best estimates these days are maybe March, but we'll see what happens. So that's keeping us busy in the regulatory space.
They keep pushing that further and further back.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, it's been done for some period of time, so ready to go. So, internal interagency challenges are what I understand is holding it up.
Gotcha. All right. Rob, anything for us this evening?
Yeah, the only interesting thing that I come across, I think I shared it with the group earlier. So Florida, with their pending state of emergency with all of the snowstorm, ice storm, it looks like they waived 934.50, which is their laws about concerning drone use. Florida banned DJI a few years ago. DeSantis signed that into effect. So it's the way it's written, it's kind of confusing because it says it excludes subsection 4, but the way I read it, I think that they can use the banned equipment now to conduct search, rescue, recovery, damage assessment, and things like that during the state of emergency.
So that's temporary for this specific storm?
That would be temporary, yeah.
But none of them should have had DJI equipment around because they should have gotten rid of it all because it was banned.
Well, you can own it, you just can't use it.
So why would you keep it if you can't use it?
Yeah, I
Yeah, for
concur.
situations like this.
Yeah, I
So
concur.
when it snows in Miami, that's so we can bank on the.
So when hell
Yeah.
freezes over, you can use a DJI drone. Okay, got it.
So I'm gonna throw something out here. So this proves my point exactly of the unavailability of equipment that does what DJI does to do the things that they needed to do, right? So if equipment like this existed, this wouldn't be a thing, right? So
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
just throwing that
Yeah.
out there. Sorry to interrupt, Rob.
No, you're fine. Like I said, it says that all of it is waived. All of 934.50 is waived except for subsection 4. But all of this was the executive order that came out yesterday. But I don't know what that subsection 4 is because all of the actual legislative texts for the state of Florida that I'm finding do not have anything that would meet that subsection 4. So I don't know. So something's in effect. I just don't know what it is.
Good times. Apparently, and I don't know if we talked about this last week. I don't know if it's relatively fresh, but is it South Dakota, North Dakota? One of the Dakotas has now banned DJI as well. So hey, there's that too. So another one added to the list. So, all right, Dan, anything to kind of wrap us up this evening?
I think we covered all the topics that I had thought about so far this week. And I'm jealous of Louisiana and Florida and how much snow they have. It's more than I have here in Minnesota. We've got nothing, zero snow right now.
Oh my gosh.
Just cold weather.
Oh man. What's the temperature?
It climbed up to almost 30 today, but yesterday morning was minus 16.
It was 24 degrees in Phoenix today. This morning when I went to work, so good times there.
I had one I wanted to mention with Newbie Drone has released a new remote ID module. It integrates GPS, and the company founder went on YouTube and described it, and he demonstrated how it could easily talk to a flight controller. And provide the GPS coordinates to the flight controller. So an integrated M10 in this tiny device, $39.99.
Yeah.
So, and my personal view is Newbie Drone produces high quality product. If anyone has used their adapter 3, which you can plug into an FPV.
That's
Speedy B.
So Newbie Drone is doing the remote ID.
Yes.
So
thank you very much.
Disregard Dave's comments.
Thank you very much. So Newbie Drone.
Yes, but Newbie Drone does make good stuff. So that's not to be taken away from them. So
yep.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this evening. No race updates from Senior Alex. Couldn't join us tonight, but I don't know. Winter weather seems to slow everybody down, except for Arizona, where it's. I mean, it's cold, but it's still flyable, right? So, cold for us, I guess. But with that, guys, I will give you 20 minutes of your evening back. Any comments that we need to address, Dan?
No, just a good conversation amongst a couple of people there, not directly related to us.
Okay, fair.
It's okay. Glad we can get you together.
Provide the space, right? So, all right, guys, thanks for joining us this evening. Super appreciate you watching us, and we'll see you again in another couple of weeks. We'll keep working on these ANPRMs. Let me get my terminology correct here, and we'll hope to see a Beyond Visual on a Site NPRM in the near future here, and we'll see what happens. So everybody have a great evening, and hopefully you get some flying in, even though it's cold. And yeah, we'll see you later. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down. chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high.